Hello everyone. Welcome to our session on APIs. Actually, this session is like a prerequisite for our first project, which is a web-based code compiler for Python. And apart from it, apart from the project, apart from the project perspective, APIs is a big general thing. Generally, if you want to, uh, use stuff over the internet, you need to know what is an API. So we'll start with the first slide. Okay, this is the first slide. Sorry, we'll start with the second slide. So what is an API? So textbook definition, API is the short form for application programming interface, which is a software intermediary that allows two applications to talk to each other. It is a connection between computers or between computer programs. So what is an API? API is like, uh, man in the middle between two computers or two applications in this case. So let me explain it to you using a simple example. You have heard of Facebook, right? Twitter, WhatsApp, or Instagram. So or YouTube basically. So whenever you're using it, whenever you refresh it, what happens is the client side at your end, right? The web app at your end, the YouTube client, it hits an API at their server and it asks for some suggested videos. Okay, and the server returns a JSON. A JSON. JSON is a data type that like most APIs work with. It actually just think it of it in this way. JSON is like a dictionary. Okay, so it returns you a dictionary. First of all, it will return the list of videos that should be displayed in your front page. It will display who are live. It will display like how many members you have subscribed, so stuff like that. So that's how an API works. Okay, so the YouTube API will hit the YouTube server, and the server will fetch data from its database and it will return it to your web browser. So that is basically an API. So the question arises, like, what are the big examples of API? Like, we can't see YouTube API working that well. So a big example is Google Maps API. Actually, it is called geolocation API. So what happens is, whenever you have these converters that convert the place name to their latitude and longitude, or the latitude and longitude to the place name. So what happens is, whenever you like enter a name, let's say we entered IIT Madras in Google Maps, what it'll do is it'll go to their database. When the API is hit, it'll go to their database, it'll search for this name, and it'll get some coordinates from there, and it will return those coordinates to me. So this is a very basic example for an API. The people who are starting with API just start with this example because it's very easy to use. Okay, so one more thing, like if you want to like see what scale it is, on what scale it's working, actually it's pretty decent. 60,000 requests every 24 hours is a very big thing, and the servers handling those requests should be powerful enough to handle those. Okay, so now we start with our like the main part of the session. What are the parts of an API? So API has generally two parts, or I should say two endpoints. And its usage or development is generally depend on requirements of the end user. If you want to develop an API, that's some other end, and if you want to use the API, that's the other end. So there are two ends to the API. So if you want to make an API, it's you are like involved in the backend team. For the coding club, the coding team is there to deal stuff with the backend, the API stuff, making the API, and the web dev team led by Akshay will do the fetching work from the API. The front end part. Akshay, you there? You have to take up sessions, right? You'll explain it, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Thanks, Akshay. So the question arises, ki, what part should you learn for the API? So as far as our end is concerned, there is no restriction, but preferably if you are in the coding team, we would suggest that you do the back end, and if you are in the web dev team, you like learn the front end. Okay, so Okay, these are just two parts, the the front end and the back end, just explain in briefly. So what languages we're going to use for the front end part? We're going to use JavaScript, and specifically a method called fetch function. And for the back end, we're going to use Python, specifically the Flask library for the uh, I'll explain it to you how it works, the Flask part. So how to use an API first, for the front end developers, for the web dev team, how to use an API. So first you have to make sure that the API is online. There is a method to make that sure. I'll show you how. You know, it's application called Postman, and then you do a fetch request that I talked about it earlier, and then when you get the data and you do something with the data. So that's like most basic thing how to work with an API. So how to design an API? The word comes to the backend or the coding team. So there are basically three steps. Because I'm leading the coding team, I'll tell you guys. Actually, this session was for like starting the project, but I'm thinking of briefing like how to design an API. Okay, so there is this library called Flask, right? I told you. So what happens is whenever you use this Flask library, it opens a port at your system. I'll explain it to you in detail. Okay, so it opens a port, and what it does is that it makes that port available to the whole internet. Like you can access it from anywhere. So what you have to do, you have to use a Flask library, so that everyone, when anyone like hits on that API, he or she gets a valid response, right? So for that we need to make an endpoint like this. Like if I say hello, I'll tell you how. Like just cram it up on right now. I'll tell you how it works. Okay, and then the data is returned. You can also check it with the Postman application. So I think I should just show you guys how the API works first of all, and then we'll get on to the code. Okay, wait, I'll just share my screen. Wait, give me a second. Okay, tell me if you guys can see it. Wait, I'll just share my whole browser so that you can see how it's happening. Okay, tell me if you guys can see my screen. Okay.
Yes, yes, I can notice.
So, for in my case, the address for the API is this. I'll explain to you what it is. So, this is the address for my, for my international IP. This is something like I bought in the domain. You don't need to buy, you no need to buy, address for yourself. I'll give the access to edit this one. And this is the port I specifically opened for this API, this code compilation API for our project. And this is the endpoint. I said hello, right? So what returns is like whenever I press enter, it returns a simple HTML that says this is my first API call. So this is basically it. This is basically some basic testing of the API. I must have made another endpoint right here. So this is another endpoint. When I say test, it says this is the test endpoint. Okay, so now we'll jump on the code. Okay, for the code part, there is like two blocks that you have to cram up. Okay, so first of all is this, mean to like cram it up, but you just understand it. First, we import the Flask library, and then we start an app. Like we define an app, then we make two endpoints, and then we run the app. Okay, so how to make the endpoints? You just say app.root, and whenever I say hello, what what happens is this hello world function is called. And what does hello function do? It returns this is my first API call. Like it's very basic. You'll get to know about it like in the later sessions, but we just want to give you a touch of it, a bit of touch. And this is the second endpoint, which says if you like go to the test slash test, then you're gonna have the value test endpoint, something like that. Okay, moving on. So like this is an address, right? This is address for my API. So how do I resolve it? Like what are the parts of the address, whatever it is? So first of all, there is this address where the APIs is hosted for the public use, and then we have the port at which our API is working. I'll show you how it's done, and then we have the specific endpoint that we want to work with. Give me a second. I'll just open up my VS Code.
Hey Abhinav, shall I just ask you a simple question? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Give him a sec. He is coming in a sec. He'll be right back.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, Gokul, yeah.
Yeah.
can you wait?
Okay. A simple question. Yeah, just you got the domain name,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Ask it.
How did we get that
Yeah,
domain
yeah.
name? IoT.cc.
Actually,
Mhm. Yeah.
in my case, I had to pay for it. The ccnet.in.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
had to
you
pay for it.
okay? You have paid it. Okay, that's fine because
Yeah, but
I
for
generally
like
use
for
it
the use
here.
of yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we generally have the local host, right? Or the IP address.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I've
But
hosted it for
actually,
you guys to test it out.
yeah, yeah, Gokul. For the project work, we will be sharing this domain with you all.
Okay. Okay then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can edit the API and stuff like that.
Sure. 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 Okay. Okay, bro. Yeah. Continue.
Okay, yeah. So this is the code for our API I just showed. Okay. Okay. So what it does is it just like imports library and just there are two endpoints and then you run it. Okay, and here is the output. Whenever there is a hit, it just gets
Abhinav,
this log. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, I don't see the code right now. Is
Hello,
it
I'm
visible
audible.
for everyone? Yeah, you're audible.
Okay,
Was the
Sachin, is
code
it
visible?
visible? The code.
Now you're
No,
changing the
actually,
tabs.
he was showing the HTML page.
Hi, he was showing the HTML page. That's what.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
you guys can't see the code. Okay, wait.
I think you have
You're
shared
not
I
the.
sharing
think
the
I
entire
I
screen
think I
now.
forgot to share.
You
Okay,
have
okay,
to
okay.
share
All right,
the
all right.
entire
I
screen.
think I shared the window.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
issue, no issue.
Audible.
Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll just. Okay, just tell me if you guys can see the code now.
Yeah, now it's visible.
Okay, so this is somewhere my API is hosted. It's hosted on some IP. Okay, so what happens is this is the code I just explained, and I want to show you this thing. This is the logging part. Okay, so whenever I run the API, the Python 3 and API.py is the file which contains the API stuff. It runs the server, starts the server, and it listens for the requests that are coming. Okay, so first request was for hello, then second was for hello, third was for hello. In the same way, some six, seventh request was for test, and it makes a kind of log for it. Okay, so that you get to know key what's happening. Get it?
Okay, there is something called as favicon, right? Favicon.
Yeah,
Third last.
favicon.
What is that?
Favicon. I'll tell you. Okay,
Did we do
so
anything?
favicon is this icon. This earth you can see.
Yes, yes.
This
Okay,
is a
I
favicon.
remember.
If I have not defined what is a favicon, that will just pull favicon.ico from the server, which is generally this by default.
Okay, okay, okay. And it shows
That's a
404,
favicon.
right? 404, right?
It says 404 there because
Yes.
it's not available now. I have not defined 404. Like
So
what is a
that's why
favicon?
it's not found. So it is saying so. Huh?
Yeah, it's not found. That's why that's this
Okay,
is the
okay.
status code. This is
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's
actually the
fine.
status code. Yeah.
So I can interrupt like this, right? Or should I wait for the last? Because I don't know.
You can, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah. I think you are the same Google from our WhatsApp group.
I don't know. I might be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, so this was the code for the API, and these were the logs. We'll just I'm just briefing it out, just giving a slight touch to everyone, not just going into details. You just have to know what's you know basic stuff. So now we'll
Uh,
do the Postman stuff. Postman is a yeah.
just
Someone
a
asking
second.
something.
Uh, okay,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
IoT.ccnet was
yeah,
the domain.
yeah.
Uh, the 112 was the port. So what
1212 is a
what is
port, right?
yeah, like that. But what is a port actually? I am having a hard time
Actually, see,
understanding that.
what happens is, see, I'll tell you. So whenever there is a server, right? So you have multiple ports for doing multiple stuff. So for hosting a website, it's generally port number 80. But if you want a secure shell, it's generally a port 22. But if you want to like remote into the system, it's generally 3329, 3389 port, something like that. So there are like multiple ways of contacting a machine, multiple channels basically. Get me? So at one single time, there are not a lot of channels open at a single machine. So you have to open it. So there in our code we opened it right here, port 1212. So there are
But
like
if
multiple ways to connect to a machine and talk to a machine. So that's how it how it's done.
okay, if that's the case, then why don't we see the port numbers in websites we search in Google's?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So whenever you search, whenever you use a browser, okay, so whenever you use a browser, what happens is it's generally hit on the 80 port. Okay, so if you are going for www.google.com, it knows that it has to hit the port 80 because you are opening it from a browser. Get me? But if in any case Google was hosted in some other port, you'll have to specify it right here, like 8080. 8080 is some other port, or 443 you can say. 443 is for HTTPS, 80 is for HTTP. Or whenever you try to like open like something, wait, I'll tell you. There's something called putty. So to access like the port number 22, see it specifies that you have to access it from port 22 to access the general stuff. And if I say www.google.com here, so actually Google has blocked my access because Google don't want anyone to go to their hosted .py file and just close it so that Google just shuts down. Get me?
Try our domain iitm.ac.
Yeah, I
We
should
just
try it.
wanted to know how this works. Give us an example, just some example. Putty.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll just do it in my local IP. Okay. So this is a Raspberry Pi hosted at my network, and I'll access it on port number 22. Okay, and I say open, and it says that this is a potential security breach and vagara vagara. We have to accept the certificate, and it asks me for my credential. I'll say the username is Pi, the password is, of course, I won't tell you, and I logged into my Raspberry Pi remotely. So what it did is like this is a channel. Okay, it opened a channel on port 22 to my Raspberry Pi. Get me, Shubhra?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So this is the way to connect to it from the port 22. And if I want like some to connect it with some other port, I'll show you as well. If I want to connect it with port 3389, which is a remote desktop, like I'll get its desktop right here. So I'll say like I want to connect to 192.168.124, which is my Raspberry Pi, and I'll say connect. Now in this case, it will connect to 3389 port. I'll give my username, I'll give my password, and when I press hit enter, okay, this is some ad for some agency that requested me to post it on my website. But there are a lot of people who are out there scamming for networks. So if you see this file, yeah, this is my Raspberry Pi.
Is
So
this your Raspberry Pi? Is
actually
this your
I
Raspberry Pi?
accessed it on the port 3389. That's why it opened like this, like in another way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Windows executable file, 50 MB. So this is a suspect file. I don't know what it is in there, so I opened it in Linux to test it out.
So
Okay,
we
what
can
it
make
is.
So we
Yeah.
can make as many ports as we want, or is there any
So there
restriction?
are a limited number of ports. I guess I'm not sure how many of them are there, but I think there are. I've used till
50,000 plus, I
3005.
guess.
Yeah, there may
It
be.
was an assignment question, I guess.
I don't know. I've used till 2000. I'm not sure about like above it.
Okay, Shubraj, like, do you understand what is a port? What does it mean? And why do we like have like this?
Yeah, I understand now.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Let's say in
Good.
our computer we have some ports, right? For port for our USB port, audio port, right? So those are hardware ports. Okay. So these ports are basically software ports. You can connect to each other. That's what they say. Even the hardware ports, you need
Yeah,
to. There'll be some port number for that also.
I meant like, can we make custom ports like that, or
Yeah. You can make custom port. There is a limit, like till 1200 you can't without administrative permissions. But yeah, you can make any of it. Like I can change it to 2000 right now, and it will be available on 2000 port.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the stuff. Okay, so moving forward, we had the Postman application. What is Postman? So Postman is application to test our API basically. So the first step that's included in right here to test the API if it is online or not. So this is like using the Postman application, right? So whenever you install Postman or like use it in the web browser, it's actually browser based as well. So you will have this thing, where you put the address. So this is the address for our API, and whenever I hit send, it sends a request to my API, and it waits for the response, and it prints my response right here. So why use Postman? So Postman tells a lot of things. Okay, when we go to this headers part, it'll say, yeah, that's a text or HTML type, UTF-8. What do you call it? What was its name? Can you
Unicode,
remember? Unicode. Yeah. So
Unicode
that's,
encoding, right?
yeah, Unicode into the most basic one, 8.
It's not
Yeah.
basic. It's advanced.
8's not advanced, I guess.
Like
16.
it, 16 is there, but it's kind of advanced. Okay, the most basic
Yeah,
is we
yeah, yeah.
call, huh?
Mhm.
Like
And
it
the
supports
character
more
length is,
characters.
yeah,
Kind of
yeah, yeah.
universal. Huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's universal basically. Like
Yeah.
it's the most basic thing you want to start with.
Okay.
Yeah. And the character length is, 26. And when was the request made? So this is like a cool little application to work out with APIs. We'll just walk through it in our further sessions. Okay, moving on. So, talking about the project, basically, the code compilation web browser we are working with. So, what we're going to do is, first of all, this was our first session, like learning how the API functions. And then in the second session, we'll do the functioning of the API. And then the web development part will be there, which Akshay will be leading. Akshay, there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Akshay will make, our text box kind of stuff, and, we'll get IP, the Python code there, and whenever someone clicks on submit, it'll hit our API, and the API will return some output, like what the Python gave. Okay, so this will be our roadmap, and this will be our schedule for it. We are not quite sure yet on our schedule, but still, it's like almost final.
Can you just show the schedule once again?
Okay, yeah.
What's this about? Like, this is just for October, huh?
Yeah, this is just for October. I think we'll be done with this our first project within October.
Done, 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 done.
Will this be an individual one or in a group one?
Actually, we'll do it in groups. In web dev team, we'll have groups. Like they'll design their own front end, and for the coding team, we'll have multiple APIs hosted on my Raspberry Pi, and their APIs will be like the one who refines the most gets the top position in the leaderboard. I'll tell you how it works in the further sessions. like the one making the most functional, the fast API without using so much RAM, and replying instantly to a request will be the like awarded the first position. Like that, it'll work then like that. Like basically, we were thinking for teams, but we'll see. Like it'll depend on the number of participation, like number of participants we have. Okay, so any doubts, like regarding this API stuff? If you have, just ask me.
Hello, Abhinav. Um,
Yeah, Anjali.
I am just the part of classroom, not any WhatsApp group. So
Even I am also not.
yeah,
Okay,
I,
okay,
I
okay.
am from Vayan's house.
Okay. So actually, we do have a protocol for this. Like we are, like I'll see, we are not directly allowed to send members the WhatsApp link, but I think we'll get the enough permissions from the higher authority, the concerned authority, to get you to the WhatsApp group. Okay, but if you're in classroom, like you are updated. If you're in classroom, you'll get most of the stuff there. In WhatsApp, we just talk trash.
Oh, okay.
Not trash, but like general stuff. Like
Yeah, yeah.
WhatsApp is like a two-way communication, right? But classroom is like a one-way communication. So the stuff WhatsApp on which happens on WhatsApp happens on WhatsApp.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, no more explanation. Enough.
Okay, guys, I think I'll end the recording here. And if you guys have anything to say, any feedbacks, anything,